Now we have been invited down to a very secret supercar meet here at Donington Park Circuit.
There's a lot of expensive cars around, but not just expensive cars, proper enthusiast rare stuff that you don't see around. We're gonna have a walk around, see what's here, see what takes our fancy. We'll be bidding on them. That's not true. Right now, Will is looking at Murcielagos because that's his end goal.
Wow, wow, wow.
So he has to go and inspect every single one. Look at the smile on his face. You don't see that. Will doesn't do that with normal cars.
It's not physical for something to make me happier, and that includes.
Still the best. I mean, every time we come to one of these events, Aveyron is there and it makes me happy. And there's a Chiron over there, and I know it's going to upset some people, but I don't care.
This has got a fake carbon wrap as well.
Oh, that's that one.
Yeah,
it's not so nice.
Also, I have seen something, but it doesn't fit the day, but it is quite lovely. There's a nice, really nice E39 there.
Yeah, really nice.
Really quite pleasant. We'll have a look.
Also, we're just walking past the Senna and a Carrera GT to look at an E39 M5. That is that's TDC core.
Where's that colour?
Is
that an agent?
That might be Agan Blue. Agan Blue is a very rare. It's an individual colour. Also, it's quite windy today. You'll have to ignore the hair, and then it's got the heritage interior, which has the lines on the seats, which are really nice. Champagne interior, also another rare option to find on an E39 M5. Just a very nice car.
With a period correct phone.
With a phone?
With a phone in the middle of the dash.
Oh, that's quite good. And a fire extinguisher under the seat. He's
prepared.
They use this thing. This is nice.
In front, though.
Yeah.
Now these have, I mean, they've always been an expensive car, do not get me wrong, but they have, in recent years, or in recent months actually, just exploded in value. Yeah. These are essentially now a £3 to £4, maybe £5 million car, depending on what sort of country you're in. These are, yeah, like you could buy these, again, it's not cheap, but you could buy them for 400 or 500k.
Yeah, they were £500,000.
And now they're £3, £4, £5 million.
If you've got one, congratulations.
I don't feel it as much.
I do still.
In terms of that, like Enzo, Carrera GT, SLR somewhere down here.
SLR
it's then Carrera GT,
yeah.
But then to me, Enzo's so clear.
And Enzo, we will get to it in a minute. The Enzo is by far, we've talked about it the last time we were here, Enzo is one of the cars of all time, and one of the best cars of all time.
Is this you?
Yeah, Ben, this is one for you. You know what? It's cool, but for me, it's a CCX or a CCR or a CCXR.
CCX, CCA, all that little generation of the manual ones that are a bit mental. I mean, not saying that's not mental.
No, of course. I mean, it would be incredible. If you could drive any car on Earth, is this what you would drive? You would like, that would be your ultimate car to drive? Absolutely. Absolutely. Right, shall we get on to the big guy? The big guy in the room. Ben and I had a quick walk around earlier just to see what was going on, and I didn't even know there was a Daytona next to it. Like, I didn't even clock, because that's there. Enzo is, I believe it's up there. It's up there for all cars of all time for me, just because it's my childhood supercar dream car. Like the Top Gear episode, I think it was Nick Mason flies in a helicopter, or flies out after letting them drive his Enzo. It's the coolest car on earth, and when you see one in person, they are unlike any other car. The width of them, like they're so big.
That era of Ferrari, we'll have a look in a sec, but seeing in the engine bay is unbelievable, and you can see through the mesh at the back, you can see the engine, you can see the exhaust, and in that glass piece where you can see little bits of suspension, you can see the intake, and the F40, F50 was the same. They don't have that.
No, they don't do it anymore.
Look at the back of these two. You can't see anything because there is nothing to see.
No.
I need to sit. That's the best. The front end of an Enzo.
It is. Oh wow. Like
could do with spacers though.
I reckon 20 mil, a little bit of camber. I reckon BC.
A 15, 20.
Yeah. I was also saying to Ben off camera, Enzo is one of the few cars on earth that can pull off a thin front tyre wall and a thick rear tyre wall. Usually it makes the car it looks very weird. Whereas because of how sharp that front end is and how chunky the rear is, it works perfectly.
That is just one of the best cars ever, and I like the fact that the mirrors are different sizes. That shouldn't work, but it does. It was kind of necessary. Right, we've come to some Astons. Now, Aston Martin now is not quite what it used to be anymore.
No.
It's like old man cruisers, GT cars, but
there's some big boys.
Aston Martin said, right, that's enough. We're angry now.
So this is a Valhalla.
Valhalla, which again, also some of the coolest names.
So was it 2019? So I think we were still at Car Throttle. They showed what they wanted to do. So they showed the Valkyrie, the RB002, which was gonna.
That is a Red Bull car.
Which is a Red Bull car, and then the Vanquish Vision concept, and that I loved the look of. The look of that looked amazing, and that essentially turned into this, which is the Valhalla.
So that is a 4-litre flat plane crank V8, which I think someone in the comments will know. It's a Mercedes engine, so I think it's roughly what they put in the Black Series.
Right.
Because the 4-litre V8, the one with the hot V like you have in AMGs, which is not flat plane crank, which is why it sounds the way it does. They then put a flat plane crank version, which is sort of more Ferrari or McLaren-esque sounding, in the Black Series, and I think that's similar. But still, like, as far as Astons go,
the way these look, really. Now there's a more subtle spec over there. I think this is like an AMR kit one, but there is a normal one over there. These look, I think there's probably some really nice specs coming out there for these. I really like them. Also the wheels, those are good wheels. But the way these sit, again, this one has stripes, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but if you see one of these in like a full colour, like a metallic dark blue or something, they look fantastic. Really do like them.
Also, something really cool about having a car where you can see the tyre. Like the Temerario has it, and the Valkyrie, which we'll get to, has it, where you're behind the car, but you can see most of the rear tyre.
Also, I've been a #1 hater of clear rear lights and like crystal lights, but the way they've been doing them recently, where they're these like little crystal protrusions, that's nice. That looks good. I was about to call it the little brother. It's not. It's still very big, but the real big guy. And we're talking about tyre sidewall, Ben. That's it. That's the standard. That's what we should be doing.
So that's a Valkyrie. Valkyrie is the Cosworth-built V12 ridiculous car.
Yeah.
These get a lot of stick because they weren't quite what was promised.
Yeah.
But Aston Martin promised a lot of things, and they came out with it, and everyone went, "Oh, it's actually kind of not all bad." But still, look, it's a Cosworth V12, and look at the way it looks.
The thing that always gets me is that. Look at the tub falling away there. That's just open space. Like, that's not a car.
Where do your feet go?
That feels like some sort of sailboat type thing.
Yeah, how far do you think you could crawl up that diffuser hole?
Oh, you know what? Ben's good the whole way through. Ben,
I actually believe I could possibly get all the way
I reckon Ben could service the gearbox.
We saw one on the road in Monterey, which I think we went to, and it just looks insane. It looks like an LMP1 car driving down the road.
It is.
Again, this is beyond our wildest dreams, but to me, seeing that it's just cool that they're making cars like that.
Yeah, it's no longer. Here's a DV7 with an inline 6 and an auto. Now next to it, I really like these. A couple of years ago, Aston Martin brought out the Victor, a one-off, old school style. It was supposed to look like the V8 Vantage of the 70s and 80s, made modern. And it had such a good reception that they decided we need to make a limited edition, special edition version.
It's a manual?
Yes, so all of these are manuals. What the f? So this is called a Valor, which is still that same looking thing, not as mental, not as wide body. From memory, you can see on the side the little, I think it's 110 anniversary sort of thing. There are 110 of these built. So not mass production, but there are more of them out there. You will see them every now and then. But when you see one of these in a good spec, like dark green, so I really like this.
Some fantastic names coming out.
Yeah.
Aston Martin have always had great names. Vanquish is one of the best car names of all time. But
without
Victor, Valor, Valkyrie. They're going to run out of V words. Yeah, they're going to get Viennese. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Vienna.
The thing I like most about it, the rear end is a little bit hit or miss, but the front end with the circular lights, you know what, I'm going to say it. Bring back circular lights on a blocky front end.
So it's
that
old school Vantage style.
Yeah, still having the Aston Martin grille, like the pinched grille, but then with circular lights on a blocky front end. Oh, it's good. I like that a lot. Benjamin has just said, we asked Ben on camera, what's the ultimate car for you? And he said the Agera RS, but earlier I said there's an SVJ driving past and Ben made noises only children make.
It's the Instagram car of choice.
It's the king. Yeah. It's the king. It's that.
Talk us through it, Benjamin. Hi.
It's everything about the Aventador that is good, but bigger and louder.
But why that over a normal one?
Because
of how angry it is.
Okay.
Because it is. I mean, it is like you know it's coming down the road.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm not sure about that colour. I think that's a little bit. Look, I'm a fan of a yellow Lamborghini, but that's a bit highlighter for me.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah.
Ben has a video of an SVJ from when we went to Monterey that he refused to post. We'll put it on the screen now, for maybe the world can now share it. But it was just amazing. Seeing one of these on the road and hearing it, they don't all sound like that. They don't all sound like the one you have in your head. They need a quite expensive exhaust to do it, but still.
Also,
special card, man.
Also, we're at a. I know. Don't take this lightly when I say this. It's not the most expensive car here.
No.
Like, there's an Enzo and Bugattis and things, but yet people flock to this. It's the people's champion of supercars. It is. An SVJ is the car.
Now, before we carry on looking around the cars at Supercar Driver, this is a quick reminder that if you are buying a used car, you should always run a car vertical check. And I've just run one very, very recently related to what we've been looking at, actually. I've been looking at a car at an auction, so I can't actually go and see the car. So I did a car vertical report just to make sure that everything is all good. Now, I'm not going to show you what it is. It'll be blurred at the top of the screen. But we've got a score of 20 out of 100. It's not ideal. That's because we've got yellow markers for mileage and also for damage. Now, this car was actually written off in 2007 and then had the marker removed, but yet Car Vertical still tells me about the damage in 07, and it also says there was a little bit of a mileage increase back in 2010. So the Car Vertical report's been very handy for looking at an auction car.
Here's an example of another car. You might have saved up all of your doubloons and you've decided, I want to buy myself a Ferrari. You find yourself a perfect looking 430 Spider, but they don't say anything in the description. You run the VIN and now Car Vertical gives you a damage report, one record for this car having damage in 2018, showing damage at the front as a fire. Not written off, but it does have a record of it. And if we go back up top, you can see a photo right there at the front, fire damage. Now someone might repair this car, put it back on the road, try and wipe that history because it's not categorized and sell it to you as a perfect car. With a Car Vertical check, you can find out that shady past.
So obviously the next time that you are buying a car, make sure that you run a Car Vertical report. Leave no stone unturned, whether you're going to see the car, buying at an auction, whether it's a Ferrari or a Ford, run a Car Vertical check.
And use code 2DC for 20% off your next Car Vertical check, and you can get 50% off if you bundle them together. Shout out Car Vertical. Let's look at some cars. When I was a child, I was clearing out like an attic with my cousins, and we found four photos of different supercars. There was a Diablo SV in yellow, there was a 911 930 Turbo, and I was a Porsche man as a child, so I was a Porsche child, but that photo of that car, that was my poster car. I have it still at home somewhere, a photo of a Diablo SV, because look at that. To a child, tell me that's not the most perfect thing.
That is supercar. The doors go up. The Diablo went on for a very long time, basically, like a very long time. It was like 10, 11 years it went on for. And then right at the end, they kind of updated it because they had to. It had no pop-ups. It looked a little bit cleaner. But it's a later non-facelift Diablo that is just the absolute peak of Lamborghini, because it's like Audi were like on their way there. I think they were sort of coming along, but it's Lamborghini. Left unfiltered to go, we stick a V12 in the back, the doors go up, it's got a writing on the side, it's going to go very fast, okay?
That for me is the writing on the side thing is important. We might take it for granted now, SVJs, all sort of thing that have writing on the side of them, but think, this is 90s. Ferrari is still trying to claim that they're making like svelte, swooping sports cars. Lamborghini go, mate, stick the letters SV all up the side of it, make it cool. That's cool. They don't care. They just wanted to make it cool.
I have one gripe with Diablos, and I want to see if it has it. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. Well, it's not that great, but they have a gated shifter. All Diablos are manual, but also this is a late one with a horrible steering wheel as well. But some of the shift knobs on Diablos are diabolical. They are actually. They're literally like this sort of like Cobra head. It's a Halford spec.
I always think
was it?
It's an old man's cane.
It's Richbrook. It's something's not right about it. When Murcielago and Gallardo came out, they had that nice polished shifter. But again, this was an era where it was Lamborghini going, just put it there. We'll get that knob. We'll get that steering wheel from there. So Luke Donkewalk, who did the late Diablo and then the Murcielago and the Gallardo, he came into Lamborghini. It was one of the first times he's been in there. Goes into the office. He sees Valentino Balboni, a legend at Lamborghini, and he says, "Oh, I'm going to be designing the new Murcielago." And Balboni said, "No, you are designing the engine cover." Basically saying, "Yo, yeah, the outside's cool, but Lamborghini's about the engine. You just design the thing that goes over the top of it." So that kind of sums up what Lamborghini, at least what Lamborghini was about.
I'm gonna admit something. The last year or two, I've really started liking G-Wagons. Like, I really like them.
It's YouTube.
You do
YouTube for a while and you go,
I don't want
a G-Wagon.
I don't want a chintzy red one with chrome bits or anything like that. I like an older one. Do you know what? I actually like the one that everyone hates. I like the late 90s ones, like the early 2000s ones.
Almost military looking.
G55 AMG, I want a supercharged one, because you get that. But there's something about this. So this is a 4x4 squared G63 AMG. Look, I know it's dumb, but it's cool.
There is road presence, and then there is road presence. This I'm expecting gold bullion to be in the boot. Just spare, just in case you need to make a trade. There's watches in the center console, just in case. It's silly. But it
really
cool.
is dumb, but something about the lifted ones are cool. The 6x6, which is kind of where this whole thing started with the lifted version, was kind of a novelty. It was a bit of a gimmick. But then after that, they got enough demand that people were saying, can I just have a normal one lifted? So this is where the squared came. They had the 6x6 and they have the 4x4 squared, which is the lifted one. I can't tell you why I like it, but I like it.
And this is a later G-Wagon, so like G-Wagons were kind of the same for a long time, and then they actually facelifted it. So this has a much nicer interior. Then I'm not sure about the blue, but just the screens, the paddles, the steering wheel, it's all a bit more modern. Old G-Wagons were getting a little bit long in the tooth after a while.
Also, I will say, one other plus point for an AMG G-Wagon, side pipes. Side pipes, reserved for NASCARs usually, and yet they said that. You have an SLR, you can have it by your front wheel, G-Wagon at the back, that's cool.
This is a relatively newish car. I don't know how new. It could be 10 years old for all I know. But this is new to me.
Yeah.
It has the correct pipes.
Yeah, it has the old
They stopped
pipes.
using those pipes, what, like 10 or 15 years ago, basically. But bring back those pipes.
Bring back
They are the
ovals.
best AMG pipes
I
ever.
also never realised that a base model C180 with an AMG kit has just one of those pipes. They are usually there's 4, like a C63. Normal ones just have one. Just have a little one.
Yeah. Oval pipe. Bring back real pipe.
These Vanquish, like Zagato, Aston Martins, they're supposed to be like one of 3 in the world. I see them everywhere. Every event there seems to be a different one.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the Enzo thing, where if you didn't know, Ferrari said there's only X amount of these. There's 300 of these, and then when you start counting them, you realise that there's more.
Yeah, it's limited run.
Yeah, but I feel like that has to be the same thing with these, because there's always one everywhere.
Yeah.
Every event there will be a convertible, a coupe, or a wagon.
And they're all that colour. Maybe it is the same one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
one guy's just driving it everywhere. But they are cool. I do like how they look. I think it's a cool, unique looking thing. I also like the divot in the roof. It's kind of got a weird bubble. It's cool.
It's a nice design.
One other little Aston Martin talk. The new Vanquish. Again, I'm not an Aston Martin man, I don't really care, but the rear end on these I think is fantastic. That is one of the angriest looking rear ends on a modern car. It's so good. And paired with the best name on any car really ever. I just think they're cool. I don't know much about them. Again, wing mirrors, Will, thoughts on this?
Mirrors, yeah, Aston went, right, how should we do our mirrors? And they went,
Contact the space station. This colour I like a lot. I'm not sure about the interior spec, but I just think it's really nice.
very long.
I think these will age quite well. Some of the other older Astons don't age that well. I think this will look good. Front end I'm less sure on, but still like it. That's you know what that is? That's Vauxhall that's Vauxhall Tropical Green, that is.
That's dom diddy dom diddy.
Behind us might look like just a McLaren wearing some sort of camouflage, but this is far more special now. If you look inside, you will see a centre driving position. That is because this isn't just normal McLaren, this is the Lanzante 9559. Do you know what that means?
It's to do with a year in a race?
1995, the year the McLaren F1 dominated Le Mans, with the car that won being number 59, so the Ueno Clinic car. This is a nod to that car. 59 of these are going to be built. Is based on, I think, a 750, either a 720 or a 750, but it's supposed to make 850 horsepower.
So they're very lucky it didn't win a race in 1969 and it was a 69th car, because they just couldn't have made it.
No.
No, it can't do that.
But
the
so-
seating position.
So yeah, middle seat. It's camoed up because it's still wearing its normal bodywork. It's going to have full custom bodywork that is kind of bespoke to it. But how cool is this? Like, you just imagine servicing enough McLaren F1s and having such a big racing history that you go, I'm going to make my own car. I'm going to make it good.
Now, what's quite cool about this is that it's an XP car. It's quite a common term for lots of McLarens. Lanzante is quite tied in with the McLarens, but that's why it's kind of unfinished. It's why it's got camo on. This is a test car. It won't look. This is a 720S still on the outside, but it won't look like that. We saw the actual concept of it at Goodwood, and it looks really cool. But that is just nuts. But something about an XP car when you've still got all the switches, you've just got,
and they're all
red button of death.
Do you know what? I want my car to have some form of label maker printed thing that says "Do not push," so that you go, no, XP car. So meanwhile, it's just a TVR. It's broken.
There's a little sign there that says 2.8 miles per litre. I'm assuming that's because it doesn't tell it how much range you have.
You just go, oh wait, hold on, when did I fill up?
So you do it on the road going, I've had miles, I've run out.
When they're testing cars, they have to work out what works, what can be in certain places. So they put these on, heat stickers on. And so after a drive, you can look at it and it will show you how hot this piece got. Obviously, if you're using carbon fibre or you're using reinforced plastics, if you get it too hot, it's going to melt. So they have to know what can go where by putting these stickers on them. So there's loads all around the car, which is really cool. That's like proper testing.
Also, just open K&N
just big old
filters.
K&N filter.
I want to hear this now.
I like the idea on these heat things that you're going, boss, I have to take the car down to Supercar Drive. I've got to get it warm, don't I? So I'm going to do 180 on the motorway.
Next door to this is a very interesting car. Now, this is it's a limited run Ferrari, therefore it's a Ferrari that's just going to shoot up in value. It is a 360 Challenge Stradale. Now, all Challenge Stradales came with an F1 gearbox. That was, in that era of Ferrari, flappy paddles were the thing. It was the thing in F1, everyone wanted it. But now, everyone's changed their mind. And this isn't an F1 anymore.
No.
Now, I'm assuming it is a real Challenge Stradale. It still has carbon ceramics.
Yeah.
It has all the kit. It looks like a genuine Challenge Stradale, but it now has a manual gearbox.
And also, this car, this is the sum up of 2020's supercars. You take an old car in the colour that nobody wanted at the time. You know, there was only a small amount of people that went, I want TDF blue. Usually people go, I want the reds, I want the yellow, I want bright stuff. A small amount of these made. I want the tan interior. And now I'm going to make the auto manual. This is the Instagram car 9000, but it's working on me. So I keep looking at it going...
This came in behind me basically when I arrived, and I saw the behind of it as I overtook it. And the CS with that kit is just one of the best looking Ferraris. And all the CSs, like lots of other limited run Ferraris or the track prep Ferraris, have graphics on, but this car has no graphic.
No stripe.
So there is no stripe at all. It's a nice, clean looking CS.
So on a Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale, there was an option for no stripe because it is painted into the car. So the no stripe cars tend to be really sought after now. They're worth a good bit of money.
Also one of the best sounding factory cars. Out of the box, they sound incredible.
Incredible. Two cars here. One more interest to Will, obviously, but you know, it's an interesting wrap job. It's an interesting one. You gave me a very interesting fact though.
Every single generation of Murcielago has a different design of mirror. So there's the 6.2, which is the early car, which is a pre-LP basically. Then they did the LP640, which is the one most people want. It's a better car overall. But they all have a different mirror design. And then when they did the SV as well, that also has a sort of slightly more angular mirror design. But also they're very well known for just wobbling around when you're driving.
Yeah, I would call it a striking wrap.
It's a striking opportunity to own an individual automobile. But the Murcielagos, again, they were never cheap, but they got down to a price where people could afford them and they started doing things to them. So there's lots of them that have got really custom interiors, custom paint jobs, custom wraps, horrible wheels. They haven't been looked after. It's just nice to see one, but I kind of want to
Also, balloon white, for me, one of the it's not one of my favourite Murcielago colours, but it is very of the time. Balloon white is the LP640 colour, it's the facelift colour. However, next to it is something very cool I like a lot.
A Mercedes CLK 63 AMG Black Series.
Oh, thank you very much. There we go, as we give you the keys to a CLK 63 Black Series.
Is that the key to it?
That is the key. The owner is a watcher of the channel, or he thinks I'm the valet, either one.
Shall we?
Let's have a go.
Yeah,
no, this might look to you just like a CLK Mercedes. They did an AMG version, the 55 AMG, and then a later 63, but they're not that sought after, they're not that interesting. But Mercedes decided to do a Black Series. Black Series for Mercedes always meant angry, wide body, as silly as it can be, and this is kind of where it started. The CLK, no one cares about CLK.
You get a CLK 500, they were big, soft Mercedes coupes, nothing that interesting.
Mercedes did decide to do two very angry versions of the CLK. You've got the DTM, which is the ultra rare, super rare car, and then you've got the Black Series, which has the wide arches all around and the very spicy interior. I love these. There is only one thing that can be improved on them. The sidewall on them is always very thin. That, if you imagine that had a little bit of a chunk on it, but the very kind owner has given us the keys because look inside, it's very cool. A normal CLK, usually filled with grey leather and just boring bits. Look, an embossed carbon door card. I'm not into carbon, but that is cool. And then you have the proper, look, the AMG, those are pole positions. That's the OG of using pole positions in a road car, but AMG branded. And then carbon everywhere, flat bottom steering wheel. And please, Ben, remember, as a child, right, maybe not for you, but for Will and I, as a child, the most important thing was what a car's speedometer went up to. It's the big guy. I think in reality they do about 185, 190, but still, it looks so good. It's so cool. I love these cars. And Clarkson had one, which means it must be good. We're a very posh meet, full of very posh people. And I think this is the car. It's the unassuming money man of the whole operation. This is an Alpina B3. So if it's I think the later ones, the S ones, have the M3 engine, have the S58, but without the big gopping grills. I'm still not a fan. Will you like them?
This is a better front end.
This to me is my ultimate. If they had done an M3 with this front end, that would be, I'd sell everything to go and get one. Just Alpinas in general. Nice subtle spec, little lip at the front, and then a lovely interior. The interior, I think, I always forget, I think it might be called Tartufo. the dark brown leather. It's so lovely, but like suitably used curb rash all over it. It's just nice. I like these a lot. They're so unassuming. Normal people will just go, it's a 3 Series. They're not going to think you're a dick. They're not going to think anything of it. They're just going to go, oh, it's just a green BMW.
B58. So you can do downpipe in a tune.
And then I spotted a Gallardo Superleggera.
That's going out on track, Will.
I'm going to need to hear that. Before I bought my car, that was the one I wanted, but they are impossible to find, and they're all e-gear. But that is the interior on a Superleggera. Also, that's a 5-litre car like mine. If that's going out, I need to hear that.
Yeah,
please.
Bloody hell. Now that I like. Quite rare. It's in the GT3 RS spec, so we got the white with the red stripe. Nice.
Swan neck with the sort of high registration plate, so you can see it.
Might be the 4-litre, that one.
Yeah, and 4-wheel steering, but all 4 rear wheels that steer.
That's early 6x6. This is the members parking. This is where we're parked. Brackets, we're not members. But there's so many cars here, we will be here for hours, so we may make this brief. We'll just talk about things that we like and do brief little overviews.
You mentioned side pipes.
Yeah, he should have. Oh, he's got the triples.
Oh, he's got 3, and they're
no, those aren't
round,
correct. They're not correct.
So this is a
Brabus.
It says Brabus. The
on the
number
steering
plate says Rolex.
I'd say this is a man with money. Satin matte blue. Very interesting, weird colour.
The G-Wagon we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, this is what you think of when you think G-Wagon. I want to look at that. All I can say is yum.
But then, videographer Ben got distracted by a Ferrari and a Bugatti Divo.
I don't care about that. I want to talk about this. As everyday, I know Ben keeps looking over at it. Ben, that's a big thing for you, right?
Well, it is a big thing for most people.
Actually, yeah, it's
What is it?
It's a Divo, Bugatti Divo. It's
Bugatti.
just called a Divo? Is it a Chiron Divo? Yeah.
It's based on a Chiron, but it's a very special
Edition.
edition, £5 million.
But can you tell me why it's special?
But that's my point. That's my.
Do you know what it is? It's because rich folk buy them.
There we
That's
go.
it. And that's why it doesn't.
It's why that's better.
It doesn't. Whereas this, every day that passes, 355s look better and better and better. Oh, early steering wheel car. So non-airbag. The later ones have the horrible big steering wheel that have the Ferrari badge just offset. So when you spin the wheel, Ferrari logo goes. It looks horrible. Whereas the early non-airbag cars here have that nicer steering wheel. Plus, it's a gated manual. Has that lovely. You know what? There are days where I sometimes feel like my pursuit for a Ferrari 550 is wasted. And I should be looking at one of these. But the noise a 355 makes, I can already see a set of juicy, fruity, spicy pipes on there. So it's going to make a noise of some variety. But a 355 noise, only thing this car I think is missing is you can get, I don't know what Challenge
you call it, is it a challenge grille, which is the mesh grille. On a black car it doesn't matter as much.
No, but on any other car, so the rear panel is body colour matched, whereas the challenge cars had a vented grille like the F50 kind of looks like, where you can see in. They look 1,000 times better. Same on the 360. They also need spacers desperately. But other than that, this car is fantastic. So
also,
good.
it looks kind of used. This is nice. I like this.
As they should be.
Also used, I don't want to go too far back because we'll do this right afterwards. Hello, mate. That is a quite battered R35 GTR. This is an early car which has got all the black seats, but look at the front bumper.
This is nice.
The front bumper is a completely different colour to the rest of the car.
If you ever see cars with these sort of stickers on it, those are tracks. We've talked about it before. Each one of those is a different track day. Good man. This is how nerdy we are. We'll run plates of people's cars and see how many miles they have on them.
85,000 miles, which might not sound a lot, but on a GTR that is a lot. I know there's one of these cars out there that has about 200,000 miles on it, but just shows use the car, look after it properly, and the car will look after you. But that's cool to see.
Save the pennies and the pounds will save themselves. Ben has asked us to say that there's 1 million Porsches and McLarens, so we're skipping over some of them.
Also, 1 million is I think, and over.
Yeah, it's probably less than that.
Yeah.
It's kind of the Monterey effect where there's every 92 and F80 on Earth here. So if we skip over a 600 LT or a GT3 RS, don't blame us. Every single day, these gain more and more beauty to me. An early R8, this has got the facelift, it's facelift lights, but the Maxton splitters can go in the bin. But other than that, they just look lovely. They age so well. When you compare the fact that this is essentially the same sort of age as like a V8 Vantage or a 997 911, they still look fresh. They look really, really good.
It's a filter classic for sure.
It doesn't matter how many times I see an NSX, I love them.
It's a later one, so it won't have pop-ups and stuff. I prefer an early car like the one that we drove, which has the pop-ups. That's NSX, that's Gran Turismo NSX, that's Ayrton Senna in the whatever they called the shoes.
Loafers.
The loafers. That's the one. I was going to just say shoes, but they're still very cool to see this because you never see these out and about because they're worth so much money.
I'm going to say it. I prefer a Gen 2. I do. I do. Because I spent my childhood watching best motoring videos. That is those Japanese videos you see of cars racing around the track, and they would put like a 355 against the Skyline, against a Alpine, all sorts of weird stuff. And the king of the hill was the NSXR of this generation. It would beat everything. I admit that it's not the correct choice, that the pop-ups are the better one, but I just have this, I love them. I just really like them. I like how they look.
This is a Porsche.
Okay, there you go, that's lovely. Look at this dickhead over here.
What a weird car.
What a weird car.
I wonder how many miles that's got.
Seat's very far back as well.
Yeah, well, it must be a tall man who owns that.
Anyway, oh, look at this dickhead up here. Also, it's such an old one as well. Your one has a plate, right?
Yeah,
that can't be yours.
That can't be mine. Who would do that?
It fell off, didn't it, officer?
It did fall off. It fell off in my hands.
Two sides of the same coin. Quick stop off for Starato. I don't feel anything. Sorry, I got distracted. I don't feel anything towards Huracans. I really don't. I like a Performante when they did the pinky colour one, but I don't care. Starato's cool, 4x4 lifted version, and its competitor, if you want to call it that, the Dakar, the 911 Dakar. Neither of them I would ever spend my own money on, but I'm glad they exist.
Yeah, it's just a
fun. Makes sense.
It's a funny one.
Yeah, no, do a silly one.
It's a silly one. Now, did you know that before the Murcielago came out, they were going to make, they had a plan to do an off-road Murcielago.
I did not know
that. That was early doors Starato. So like back in the late 90s, or it would have been the late 90s, they were sketches for an off-road Murcielago. And it's not the way the Murcielago looks now, it looks all different, but so that got scrapped, but that would have been cool.
Crazy.
That'd have been really cool.
With like a proper rally pedigree.
Yeah, with a V12.
That would be quite cool. Two little tidbits about wheels. Firstly, you don't tend to see these 720 wheels. They tend to be, I don't know if they're the upgraded option or the lower option, but it feels like they're the wheels that nobody really wants.
These wheels, I think, are like a standard wheel.
Okay, so that's what I mean. Everyone upgrades the nice ones, but I think they're the nicest ones. I think they suit the shape, they look really good. But from one wheel, I have something else for you.
Okay. Oh!
So these are SP2 Monza wheels, that open top Ferrari kind of special edition thing that they did. Those are from it. And these are 21-inch all round, but they're the only Ferrari you can have that has 20-inch front wheels and 21-inch rears. I know this because we're researching something for an upcoming build, not on a Ferrari.
I'm going to say they don't really fit.
They don't really fit.
They don't really fit, but it's kind of a flex. So
it's a big flex.
Those who know would go, oh, okay.
Got the SP2 wheels on the
now,
E12.
Does he have an SP2? Or did he just find them on eBay somewhere?
And where are the wheels for that?
Yeah.
Where are the SP2? Is it on bricks?
I was going to say, there's an SP2 somewhere in an alley.
Regardless of Will's one, always been a fan of Gallardo's. I do like a second gen, a Superleggera. This is essentially a convertible Superleggera, the Performante.
Just not as keen on them. It has a 5.2, which is more of an Audi engine. Very cool, but I'm not a big fan of a vert. Now mine sounds the way it does, I can understand why you'd want a vert, but I just can't do it. If you're gonna look like a cock, let's minimise the cock.
This is a Sagaris, so the end of line TVR, the ultimate one they made. I was doing some research into them because I really like them. I would love to own one day, but they're now approaching the £100,000 mark. They only ever made, I think it's 216 of these cars total. So with how much they get crashed, probably call it 200 odd left. Fantastic looking. I just look at it. We've talked about this before when we walked around the previous Supercar driver event, that they are a joy to see, that they just, they're so good.
I don't know if that's a thing. I think we might have talked about this before, how that's been adjusted somewhat.
Yes, so
it's a TVR, so it's entirely possible it's just fallen off.
Something you might remember from the Top Gear episode, if you ever watched it, was that TVR wanted to have these kind of cuts in it. It's because the word Sagaris is a Nordic axe, or it's something from like Viking folklore. It's a blade, is what
nice.
Sagaris is, which again, cool name. England, you're quite good at doing names every now and then.
Yeah.
So they have these like axe slashes, but they found that it would flick rocks up into the windscreen, so they then closed them off. What a lot of owners will do is they will cut them out and then fill them back up with like mesh or something to stop the rocks. This car has had them done, but that's not all this car's had done.
So the engine is what, 4 litre usually, straight 6?
4 litre straight.
Normally
It's the Speed 6 engine.
It's a great engine. It sounds fantastic.
400 horsepower.
It's been replaced in this car with an S85 V10 from an E60 M5. And it also has the, I want to say it's DCT.
It is, yeah, DCT
This has a
inside.
DCT gearbox, as you can see, the shifter kind of shoehorned in there with an M6 cup holder as well. So we've been kind of following the build on this a little bit. This has been going on for a little while, but this is very cool.
Yeah.
A massive V10 in a car of this size is a really cool look. It feels like something even a TVR would approve of when they were building
exactly.
them. This is very, very cool.
So this is Cigaris. This is Cigaris that's been messed with, but in the best way possible.
Also, the colour of this car, I cannot stop looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm not normally a fan of like a super vivid blue like this, but what's happening with this colour?
Just fantastic. Again, not necessarily a Porsche man these days, but just at the 996 G3 RS, fantastic. And look, oh, it's just so.
Oh, with the seat.
Oh, he's got the seats.
And it's an F1, but it has the challenge grille and it has the seats.
So the seats, so there was an optional extra you had with Ferraris from the early 2000s, 90s, 2000s. You had the standard seats, and then you had like the Daytona stitching on the inside, or you could go for the racing buckets, and they have this huge, wide shoulder. They are unobtainium. For the 550, I started looking for them. I gave up. It's not happening.
Yeah, show it's a Dutch car.
Yeah, so this is the Spyker.
Some of the Spykers we saw in the US had the airbag, like the Audi wheel. This has got the Spyker wheel. These are very, very cool.
So yeah, we talked about these when we were in Monterey, but every time you see a Spyker, it's a big deal. C8 La Violette, Dutch car, but powered by the RS4's 4.2 litre V8. I just love, they just look so good. They look so weird. It's so cool.
It's one of those cars that you kind of need to be of kind of our generation. Anyone younger probably won't know it because it's not been around. They kind of died off. But they did lots of different versions. There was the longer wheelbase one, which had like a Le Mans engine in it and a few other bits.
One.
But just seeing that one, the Spyker, the C8 as it is, with the right wheels, with the right interior, it's a really impressive car.
That's so cool.
It's not something I've ever like yearned to own.
No, it's too weird.
No.
And this is, you know, I like TVRs and things, but there's so much money for something so niche, and you don't want to use it too much. You don't want to do anything with it. So
That's Dutch TVR.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Trevor.
yeah. My name is Trevor. So we're now in the lineup of cars I believe that are going out on track. One of the greatest of all time, E46 M3 CSL. He has the airbox, he has the seats, he has the lightness, he has the whole package. And then we were fooled at first, but this looks to be a replica C63 Black Series. I'll tell you what.
It fooled me from afar.
It fooled me, but I also don't mind. If this thing's going on track, it can be big
Also,
and wide and cool. And
in terms of replicas, you get lots of replicas where they want to look like it, but they don't have the engine. It still will have a 6.2. It may not have as much power, but you can kind of get it up to Black Series power anyway. So I'm not that angry at it. There's a few little bits that show it's not really real, the way that's sort of blended in, that kind of thing. But to have those arches on a coupe C63 is really cool.
also, big old brakes. If it gets used on track, hopefully we see this doing a little later. If he's got a diff, I'm on board with it. Right, old 911s. I know that there are most people right now that have just seen this in the background and gone, I don't care. And I get it. There are so many variations and so many boring, nerdy differences that don't matter. All you have to know is this one's quite nice. This is an early car, a G-body car. That is what you refer to all the cars before a 964 and after the original 911. Anything with the big bumps like this, you call it a G-body. So Fuchs wheels, probably wouldn't have come standard with this. It has the wide arch like an RSR rear wide arch on it, but look at the fitment, look at the chunk on those tyres. That's doing things for me. Also an interesting colour. I wouldn't buy a car in that colour.
It's not green enough, is it? Ben, earlier on you said, I love an SVJ, I'm a 12-year-old boy. That's the correct Aventador, and there are no questions answered.
If only there was a way to have an SV with the noise of an SVJ, the Gintani proper noise, then that would be perfect for me. Because it's better.
Everyone says, Lamborghinis need to have giant wings and whatever. It's not true. Yes, Lamborghinis have had massive spoilers and stuff, but all of the additional stuff's not necessary. That is simple enough, yet mental enough to be a proper V12 Lamborghini, and has one of the best exhaust setups ever.
Did you look at that?
Just 4 pipes, just pointing ever so slightly downwards.
Actually great.
Aventadors are, I'm a Murcielago man, but shortly after that, it would be one of these, because they are still ridiculously
Mark
cool.
my words, these will be the echelon of collectible cars at some point. There are so many people, so many kids who grew up with them as wallpapers, so many crypto millionaires that went out and bought them, so many X, Y, and Z that in 30 years' time, when everyone's looking back, they're going to go, Aventadors, that's the one, isn't it? That's the guy.
And if he's going on track, which he might be if he's parked here, then fair enough. But also, in a The interiors of like old Lamborghinis well, they were a bit shit. These are a lot better, but it does have something I've wanted to try out forever, and that is the lift-up switch for the starting it up. Feeling like actual fighter pilot.
It is. It's Bruce Wayne. The Batmobile, Master Wayne. No, the Lamborghini then, Master Wayne. That's Big Ben!
It looks different to when I remember it before.
That is... that is Ben, like late stage Ben. That's Ben after he's like, Ben's become a successful COO.
Sunglasses in the sun visor. Ben is a big sunglasses enthusiast. This is you,
This
mate.
is it. This is Big Ben.
This is you when you sell Ben Corp.
Big fan of aftermarket wheels retaining standard centre caps, and obviously this is a centre-lock wheel on this car, so you need to reuse the centre cap. But having that factory Porsche centre cap on there really makes that nice.
Again, it's not as mental as the new one. The new one looks like a GT3 car on the road, which is what this was kind of meant to be, but just right. And also Pilot Sport Cup 2s.
Yeah, with chunk.
I don't need those tyres, but I need those tyres.
How many times have we said it? Get yourself some meat. So we got 3 track day weapons here: Atom, Dallara, and the Volkswagen Transporter. No, Atom everyone kind of knows about. That is a classic of the 2000s, and they still make them. That's 23 plate. But these are quite cool. I don't know anything about them. The Dallara. So it's essentially a kit car, but with an enclosed top, like a KTM, like an Expo type thing. But from the rear, I really like them. What are those lights from?
I don't recognise them, and I'm going to say they're like generic light for coach or van.
I want to say a Citroen, but I don't think they are. You've got the answer?
I have the answer.
What is it?
I'm going to give you 3 guesses, and I guarantee you will never get it.
A 1968
Actually, you know what?
Ford Mustang.
I'll give you one piece of help. It is not an actual tail light.
Is it a front light? That's that. I don't know that. What's that then?
That is a rear bumper light from a Q7.
Either way, they're quite cool. Full like carbon body thing. I think they're cool. I just don't know anything about them. Please feel free to educate in the comments.
Dallara.
Barely know her.
Behind me is a very special car. That is a 5-litre Gallardo Superleggera. So I mentioned it earlier because it drove past us, but this was the car I was looking for before I bought my manual. Manuals and Superleggeras are roughly similar in terms of numbers, in terms of how many were made. The Superleggera is arguably more special. It's the lightweight one. It's got full carbon door cards.
The interior
is full Alcantara. They've got the same seats basically as a Murcielago SV. The interior is considerably more special, but they were pretty much all e-gear cars. There are a handful of manual cars. They are impossible to find, and they're very expensive. But these, I think, are a very good buy at the moment. They are just on the way up. It's a rare Lamborghini with a very special engine. It's the 5-litre, not the Audi version, so it's very upsetting seeing that.
There's going to be lots of you saying, Nardo Grey, is it? Listen, Grigio Telesto, the OGs of Nardo Grey. The TT was there first, but this and the LP640, the one you saw in Batman in this colour, they own this colour. This colour, that's allowed on this colour.
So this is like part of that Top Gear episode where it was Clarkson in the Superleggera, there was the GT3 RS 997 with Hammond in that N24, I think it was, with that May had. But they had an orange version, and that was a manual car as well.
Yes.
That car is a manual car, and we think we might know who owns that car, and they might not know that it's as special as it is with a manual. But you could also get it with a sort of low downforce wing. So you would get it, I think pretty much all of them had a reversing camera like this one, but you get one that had no wing, and they do look cool.
Go across here, it would just be a little lip that went across.
But you've got the wheels, you've got that diffuser. It's not, again, it's not ridiculously bigger than the standard one.
No.
But it's just big enough that you notice that it's a Superleggera. And oh yeah. Shall we do something else?
The Vanquish, the first gen Vanquish, it got a lot of hate for a long time, kind of as it should. Apparently the automatic gearbox was terrible. There were lots of things that meant it was not very nice, and the interior is so dated. But this is an S, so it has the, are you about to tell me? So, they were all automated manuals, which were horrible. And they made the S, which had the bigger wheels, lots of nice stuff, which I believe is what one of these is. But then you could go back to Aston Martin, to the works department, and say, hey, can I have a manual, please? And they go, all right, we'll do you something special. I believe this is one of them. Oh, look at that. Look, right, Ben, I know you don't know much about these cars. Have a look at those speedo dials and tell me that's not retro as heck.
The dashboard is dog shit.
No, the interior, you can't really fix that. There is a resto mod Vanquish out there, which is cool, but what I'd really like to see is a Singer Vanquish.
Yeah.
So it still looks like a Vanquish, but it's got a nice interior, not that heinous Ford related one. Nice fitment, nice sitting. they do sit in a bit. They are
the rear, the arches on it. They deserve They deserve better.
Yeah.
Than that.
But these are very special. That is an E92 GTS. It is about to go out on track, I think. That's quite cool. Right, we're going to go get some food, watch some track action.
Watching.
Yeah.
You never know.
They might call them up and say, mate, jump in the Murcielago, do a lap, would you? You know the red E92 that went past? We're supposed to be in that right now. We registered a bit too late, so it's just driving around on track. And we keep going, oh, that's us in there.
Just imagine we're in there.
Right, two very different sides of the coin, but both very exciting. Super early Huayra. Huayra not really our bag.
Zonda is it, because Zonda's NA engine, you can buy a manual, obviously later ones which paddle shift, but these were turbo. And it's a V12, it's turbo, it's Pagani, it's very silly, it's very impressive, but there's something about the turbo. The turbo has taken something from it.
And it's too round for me. Zonda, if you don't know, Horacio Pagani was heavily involved with Lamborghini and designing Countach, Diablo, those sort of cars. So his thing is sharp angles. This just lost a bit of that. It's very impressive with all the active aero and things. As you can see, those two fins, when you brake, they flip up and they move as you're turning to give you better aero.
They're very impressive inside.
It is cool, but it's just something is just a little bit missing for me. A Zonda, I would go mental over every day of the week, but this is just, I go, oh, it's cool as a Huayra.
I mean, if I saw one on the street, I'd be pretty pleased about it. But yeah, Zonda is the one with the proper engine. But next to it
is very cool. So this
Supercar.com.
A Countach, but not only Countach, this is the later one, is a 25th anniversary. They are actually the most common Countach made. They are by far the most common. They're the most made of the 25th anniversaries. You can tell a 25th anniversary because it has the big arches, it's a later car, but you will also see all of these strikes. So the ones up the side skirt, the one in the vents at the rear, the one in the back vents, and it has the wing, and then it has these thin rear lights. That is kind of liquid 25th anniversary, but there's still something special about seeing them, every time. Because
they've gone up so much in value, you so very rarely see them. But I'm a bigger fan of an early car.
Same, me too.
The early car, I think, is a prettier car. It's far less common to see, but this is kind of the Countach people think of. It's the one with the wing. I think we spoke about it before.
Your gear knob.
But there it is. Ben, come and see this knob. If you saw that underneath the hand of an 85-year-old man coming out of a care home, you go, that's perfectly normal. That's what that is. That is a walking stick, it's a cane, it's not good. But again, this is like early-ish Lamborghini. But then the wing, I don't know if we spoke about this before, but this is quite interesting. Now the wing actually does nothing, like nothing at all. And actually they couldn't even sell it with the wing.
Weren't allowed.
So they had someone to buy the car, you bought the Countach, and then they would fit the wing outside.
Yeah.
So because they didn't actually have it as like an official option, it was never like properly signed off. But that is just random aeroplane wing. I think Di Tommaso used a very similar wing.
Pantera is kind of where it came from originally. They put this wing on, they went, oh, that's quite nice, seemed to like that. It then became so iconic that it was then something that everyone had to have. You can see at the rear, 25th anniversary badge, these small inner lights. The early ones, this whole piece here, that whole piece is a light, whereas on these later ones it became just these small bits in there. Again, everyone always says, these are a don't meet your heroes car, don't drive them. Not that I have that much interest in driving them, but just to look at, man. If you're a billionaire, surely you got to have one of these on a wall or something.
Also, one of the largest rear tyres you'll ever see, ever fit to anything. But you can't really see it as much on this. Like you can, on a Pantera, they're a bit more aggressive. You can see the tyre. But Ben, if you can see under there, or get a shot underneath afterwards, there's a 345. But it's a 15-inch wheel. So it's a 15-inch wheel, which you wouldn't even see on a Polo.
No, that's
days.
an MX-5 wheel.
And it is ridiculously wide. It's the same width as you get on the Murcielago and some Aventadors, but on a car that's from the 70s, 80s, 90s, basically. But these are still very cool. You just don't really see them anymore, which is sad. So there we go. We have walked around just about everything. Yes, there's going to be things we've missed in the background, but if we did every car, we would be here for hours, like actually hours. But overall, the weather has stayed pretty good. Next time you come, we want to get on track.
Yeah.
If you're coming to the next one and you've got a cool car, just get us in that passenger seat. We'll just be like little kids going, hee hee.
So thank you very much for watching. Click here if you want to watch where we walked around another supercar driver meet. Click here to subscribe. Will you go home in your cars? I guess I'll just walk. I'm going to walk this way though.
Nice McLaren, man.